All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started, so please, everyone, take your seats. Folks, sorry, we don't want to name names, but we are going to ask you to please take your seats. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Chait, and I'm chair of Manhattan Community Board 4, and I want to thank everyone who has come out tonight. As always, and particularly for July, we have a very full agenda, including a significant number of people who have joined us for our public session, both in person and online. Just a bit of housekeeping. As a reminder, MCB4 has a hybrid meeting policy that can be found on our website. Board members are expected to attend meetings in person unless they have a disability and/or an extraordinary circumstance. Excused committee members and members of the public will still be able to participate virtually. Board members who are joining via Zoom must leave their cameras on. And this meeting is being streamed live on our YouTube channel, and a transcript is being recorded. The meeting will live on our YouTube channel and be accessible to the public. As a reminder, sign in for both public hearing and public sessions are always available before the meeting. In fact, you can sign up now for next month's, well, we don't have an August meeting, but for the next meeting, which is in September. And we highly encourage you to sign up in advance. It allows us to plan accordingly. To ensure fairness, consistency, and respect, we ask all speakers, including elected officials and their representatives, to limit their comments. And typically, we limit comments to 2 minutes, but in recognition of the significant number of people who have signed up for this evening, we will be limiting comments to 1 minute. And for our electeds, we are only hearing from principals this evening. We've communicated that ahead of time. Hopefully, you all got that notice. But seeing as we just have so much to cover, we want to be respectful of everyone's time. Speaking of respect, as I have said in past meetings, maintaining a respectful environment is not just a request, it is a requirement of our bylaws, and we expect all board affairs to be conducted with fairness, decorum, and respect, and that board members be mindful to contribute to an environment where all will continue to feel welcome to participate. This expectation extends to all attendees as well. Disruption, offensive conduct, personal attacks, and dare I say even eye rolls are not appropriate and go against our commitment to hear from all voices and should not be tolerated. If anyone does not adhere to these guidelines or the spirit of maintaining a respectful environment, they may be asked to leave. Tonight, we will start with our public hearing on MCB4's updated affordable housing plan, which we will be voting on later this evening. Following that, we will have a brief presentation from our board engagement working group co-chairs. And immediately after that, we will have our public session, which again is your opportunity to speak this evening for 1 minute on any topic of your choosing. If you would like to sign up for the public session and have not done so already, I believe the sign-up sheet is still in the back. And if you are online, we will ask you to raise your hand virtually immediately following our public hearing. So not just yet, because we're going to do a public hearing first. And again, because of the overwhelming sign-up for this evening, we will not be able to accommodate late sign-ups. As mentioned tonight, we have a hearing on the revised Manhattan Community Board Affordable Housing Plan. And I want to thank HHS, Clinton Hell's Kitchen, Land Use, and all others who have contributed to the document, and in particular, Joe Restuccia, who I don't believe is here yet, but you all will echo my thanks and make sure he feels the gratitude together with the support from his office at Clinton Housing in bringing these revisions forward. This plan was first created in 2015 and updated in 2022, and again this year to be considered for approval later this evening. This document has served and will continue to serve as a blueprint for bringing new units of affordable housing to our district. This version proposes plans to develop nearly 16,000 additional new units. To the electeds and city and state officials in the room this evening, we look forward to working with you to bring these projects to fruition. To my fellow board members and members of the public who may feel we are not always doing enough to address the city's housing crisis, I want to say that we are the only board which has adopted such a thorough and robust plan and offered support to develop those plans, and done so while respecting the historical and contextual nature of our neighborhoods. After the public hearing, as mentioned, we'll hear from Rodney Washington and Rachel Lee on the Board Engagement Working Group. As a reminder, I announced we would be convening this group in February with the goal to consider recommendations to support increasing individual board members' understanding of board business, mitigating the implications of term limits by creating more opportunities for board members, and supporting social cohesion and a sense of belonging, while also being considerate of the varied interests and desires of individual board members, including the fact that the board may already be a completely satisfactory experience for many of you, as we hope, and that there are limited additional bandwidth concerns of staff and board members alike. Tonight, Rachel and Rodney will present the working group's findings. Finally, before we go to that, just a quick word on this month's NYCHA Town Hall, which took place on July 9th. We held the much-awaited town hall with two of our electeds, Councilmember Eric Botcher and Assemblymember Tony Simone, in response to a letter this board voted out at our March board meeting, in which we sent a letter to request, quote, that our local, state, and federal elected representatives participate in a town hall hosted by MCB4 to respond to questions and concerns related to the proposed Chelsea NYCHA project. I will say more about this in the chair's report later at the meeting, but ahead of this public session, I just wanted to note two quick things. One is that I want to ensure that everyone here knows tonight that we are not taking a vote on the proposal. That town hall was simply to gain and have that information exchanged. There will be no vote up or down on the proposal tonight. And that we have held and will continue to hold numerous meetings where we have heard from the public as well as the applicant. We've had, in fact, dozens of meetings, and we will continue to do that as the plan and the proposal progresses. So with that, I'm now going to turn it to we're actually going to do the public hearing first. So, I'm sorry? I got. Oh, and so I'm going to turn it to Jesse Bodine, who's going to handle the hearing on our affordable housing plan.
Hi, everyone. Really quickly for the folks in the room, we're back. Never mind. We lost our video here. So folks online, we're having a little spotty with our video projector. And so we might lose your image, but I believe we have you on audio. So we still can hear you and you can still hear us. We have only 3 people who signed up in advance for the hearing, and I don't see a couple of them online. So I'm going to just check in the room. Is Lois Bertart here? And I see Susan Kenny, but I know, Susan, you also signed up for the public session and wanted to speak on the NYCHA topic. I wanted to just double check if you meant to just sign up for it just for that.
Hello. Yes, I did. I signed up for that, and Mr. Berta, but Mr. Berta presently is not here, but I am here.
Okay, so Susan, I'll bring you over later when we get to the public session, okay?
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, so therefore we only have one other person who will sign up in advance, and that is Michael Hirachi. Michael, I'll bring you over. You have 2 minutes. If someone could time this, because I don't have the timer on me. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, 1 minute, Michael. I apologize. I forgot our own rule. Michael, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I fully support the mayoral candidate Mamdani's plan to build affordable housing. I know that affordable housing has been a big challenge in New York City due to so many competing priorities, from business leaders to racist redlining. So fully support the plan to build more affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Is there anyone else in the room, because no one else signed up in advance? All right, I consider this hearing closed.
Okay, thank you. We're now going to switch to our board engagement working group. Rachel and Rodney, you can come up here. We're going to load the deck, and I'll just ask that we'll now pull the sign-up sheets for public session. So if we can bring those up. And if you'd like to speak during public session as a member of the public, please raise your yellow hand on Zoom, and we'll be sure to capture you, but we'll not be able to take sign-ups throughout the meeting. So if you know someone, you need to raise your hand now. With that, I want to again thank Rachel and Rodney, and we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks, Jesse.
Here we go.
Thanks, Jesse. So again, my name's Rodney Washington, and together with Rachel Lee, we serve as the co-chairs for the Manhattan Community Board 4 Board Engagement Working Group. I would also like to recognize and say thank you to the other board members that participated on the committee: Maria Ortiz, Greg Morris, Wendy Gonzalez, Katie Stokes, Ella Kim, Matt Green. I think that's it. So thank you. Tonight, we're providing a brief, high-level update on the efforts to strengthen member engagement, support leadership development, preserve institutional knowledge. This is an informational presentation. No vote is needed tonight. And also a big thank you to all the MCB4 board members. We had a 78% response rate for the survey, and then follow up with the focus group. So this information is really driven by the committee members here today.
Thank you. So as Rodney mentioned, starting from, next slide, please. So starting from February, every first Tuesday of the month, the BUG members gathered at 8 p.m. prime CB4 business time, and not only helped to develop the survey, but also help review it, based on which we also developed the focus groups that, some of you participated. And after gathering all those input, we were able to put together our preliminary findings in the form of a initial presentation to the executive committee, which was going to be our initial deliverable. And from that executive committee presentation, we also solicited and received feedback from the executive committee members. So the presentation that you're seeing today is really an amalgamation of all of the input gathered by that many members of MCB4. And of course, we gathered ongoing feedback and guidance from Jessica and Jesse throughout the process. So thank you again for your leadership and input. So the BUG working group, Board Engagement Working Group, identified the 4 main focus areas you're seeing in the right hand of the presentation slide. So basically, it boils down to board operations, leadership, term limits and knowledge preservation, and social cohesion. So we're going to go through the presentation highlighting those key areas identified by the working group. Next slide. Let's go with the first one.
Thanks, Rachel. The first of the 4, understanding board operations, some big numbers here. Almost 40% of the members who participated in the survey had 8 years or more service on the committee. 33, or a third of the board members, said they were very familiar with the board operations. However, members also expressed the need for clear guidance on how to introduce ideas and better understanding of the executive committee.
Awesome. And then the next slide, the second topic was leadership development pathways. So consistent with the theme of high level of familiarity that we have among CB members about board operations, over half of the survey respondents said they have served in leadership capacities in MCB4. The remaining respondents had varying levels of interest in potentially serving in leadership. And when asked about potential barriers, the key thing that was identified by many members was time constraints, as you can all sympathize, right? In addition to kind of lack of certainty about what the leadership responsibilities entail, and maybe also the kind of pathways. How does one consider and vie for the leadership opportunity as a way to maybe enhance that and encourage participation to those interested, or just general professional development. One thing that was really, really resounding from a lot of members' suggestion was mentorship, in addition to some other suggestions. We'll get into the details of our recommendations at the final in the final slide.
Thanks, Rachel. Next slide, please. The third of our 4 sections, term limits and institutional knowledge. Overwhelmingly, 91% of the members said they were concerned about the loss of knowledge. 53.3 are very concerned, 37.8 somewhat concerned. So we've heard these conversations. We have some real longtime subject matter experts on our community board, and we're concerned. So later you'll hear some of the recommendations. The good thing is that we're already doing this. There may be happening in certain committees, but this is the space where we've consolidated and documented what's going on.
And perhaps as a relevant kind of foundational underpinning to improve or address that concern over term limits and knowledge preservation, it's social cohesion. Basically, we need members' input, right? So when asked about how one feels comfortable speaking up, even when they're not in the majority view. Actually, generally, 60% of the members said they're very much comfortable expressing their views, which is great. At the same time, though, slightly below 30%, so 28.9% said that they're only somewhat comfortable expressing their views if they're not in the majority opinion. So there is some room for improvement. And since we're a CB that strives for the best, we looked into the open-ended survey responses to understand kind of the concerns better. And several noted basically power dynamics or reactions, whether actual or anticipated reactions by those in leadership roles in sharing alternate viewpoints. So that is something that we can keep in mind. And as a way to improve that and future discussions, some noted that maybe procedural clarity can be a way to address this or improve the experience. And procedural clarity means something like familiarizing with Robert's rule, or simply just when to speak up, where to speak up, when can I ask questions, and to whom, things like that. So in addition to other ideas. So we'll dive into the next slide, which summarizes our recommendations. Actually, that was the slide that I was covering. So next, yeah. One more.
Next one.
Next. Thank you.
Sure. So recommendations, we sort of created a sort of brief timeline, and we divided it among 3 months, 6 months, and the long term. So the first is looking to launch a board buddy for our new members that recently joined. That means informal conversations, a coffee, sort of, getting to know each other. We're creating a toolkit from the information that we already have, but maybe that board buddy would work with the new members to sort of say, oh, yes, this is something you're going to need. This is what we're looking at in transportation. So again, just sort of making those informal conversations and building the relationships.
And as Rodney alluded here, and as you can see on the screen, a lot of these ideas are novel, or a lot of these are already happening. And the goal was to really make it as member-driven as possible and as easy to implement as possible, considering everyone's lack of time and the bandwidth of our members and also the district office. So, for example, you can see in both the medium and long term, there's one thing that they have in common, which is leadership opportunities, leadership experiences. And that is something that I, and along with many other members that have participated in the survey and focus groups, have said they're already experiencing. So for example, in Hell's Kitchen land use, JD and Paul, housing, Joe and Maria, right? Transportation, Christine and Jesse, they're already doing very creative and very deliberate things to engage and enhance certain subject matter expertise and just bring board member expertise to the table, which again, betters the kind of work product that we put out as CB4. And of course, other co-chairs of committees are doing their versions of this in many ways. So the recommendations you're seeing on the list here are really ways to formalize it, make sure they're implementable, and we continue to do so in the long run. And it just shows that they were very well received when we solicited feedback from members wide. So it's a mutual, it's a reciprocity, right? Like it's something that we're doing well and something that board members want to see more of. So I think the takeaway is we have a lot to be proud of, and hopefully with these recommendations, we'll be able to kind of think about these in the long run and ongoingly. So with that, we'll go to Q&A. If there's time for it, we can take a couple of questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We have about a minute and a half, but if there are any questions, this work is ongoing. And as said, we're not taking a vote this evening, so you can reach out to Rachel and Rodney also with any ideas or suggestions, or anyone else on the committee. But with that, any questions or comments about the work that's been done so far? Okay, I want to thank you guys again and everyone who took time at 8:30 or 8 o'clock on your Tuesday nights. Thank you. I'll now turn it to our first vice chair, Leslie Bogosha Murphy, to go through the public session.
In person first, though. All right. Hi, everybody. This is the in-person in-person and virtual public session where anyone can speak about anything they like. Usually it's 2 minutes, but because we have an unusual amount of people signed up tonight, I think we're gonna go to 1 minute a person, if that's okay. We don't want to stifle anyone's creativity or dialogue or anything. And you can always follow up with us either through email or in person, but we just want to make sure everyone gets their say tonight because we do have what we think is going to be a pretty hefty public session. Why don't we go in person first, right? Okay. Lisa, I know Lisa's here.
Well, I'm just cutting my second item, but I'll talk to you about it in September. Hi, I'm Lisa Wager, Director of Government Community Relations at the Fashion Institute of Technology, the SUNY College on West 27th, between 7th and 8th with the Residence Hall, and 31st west of 9th in the district, and I'm here with an FIT update. I'm going to talk tonight just about FIT's Senior Learners Program. The program is designed for chronologically mature adults, 60 years of age and older, who are also New York State residents. It's run through FIT's Center for Continuing and Professional Studies, CCPS, and makes it an array of fall semester courses available to qualifying seniors at the very reduced cost of $35 plus a $10 registration fee. There's an info session on Tuesday, August 12th from 1 to 2, and if you're interested, it's a good idea to watch this because the courses fill up very, very rapidly. Fall registration for 25 opens August 20th at 9 a.m. sharp. Via our online registration system, and you'll find step-by-step instructions on the website, and the CCPS dedicated staff is available to offer registration support. You can go to fitnyc.edu/seniors for info on the information session and how to register for courses. Stay cool and well hydrated. I'll see you in September.
Thank you, Lisa. Next we have Tyrone. I believe it's Tyrone Anthony. Yes, and then after Bridget Johnson. Great.
Hey, sir, how are you? Is that good? Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. How you doing? I'm Anthony Tyrone. Been living in Hell's Kitchen for about 41 years, Clinton Housing District. And I'm here today to talk about some things regarding, as we've been here before, I talked to Senator Bradman's office regarding the noise that's in this area. It is just unbelievable. I'm talking about sirens all day long. This is 24 hours. Now I can understand this is commercial, but there's some problems out there you have pedicabs that play music all night. You have seniors and disabled people who live in these buildings and they act like we don't live here. They have construction going up like we don't live here. You look across the street and 103 buildings on Manhattan's water. You look again and you see nothing but pedicabs music outside your windows waking you up. 3 o'clock in the morning, weed hours in the morning. Okay. Now this continues. I call Jesse off and on. However, sometimes, I don't know, it's the same phone line. But I'm here to the community board to try to say, we live here. And the seniors and disabled people, some of us are sick. Okay. Some of us are retired. Okay. So some things that's taking place, somebody need to really, talk to the mayor or talk to somebody. The homeless issue is another issue. Okay, we had a girl in our block what she does is she pisses in the flowers, she urinates in the flower, defecates in the flower, curses me and Jesus out at the same time. Okay, and she's been there for over a year. Okay, so I'm going to submit this to the community board that's here. And the rest of the internal part will be between me and my landlord, Joe Estucci. He's not here. We have some issues, but that is written down. So thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Got it.
Great.
Bridget?
I think I signed up online too. Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Bridget. I work at The Kitchen, which is an avant-garde and experimental art space. We've been around since the 1970s. Some of our known presenters are David Byrne, Laurie Anderson, Simone Lee, some of our more famous names. Our building on 19th Street has been under renovation for the past 3 years, which means a lot of people think that we're closed, but I'm here today to tell you that we're not closed. We continue to present work all throughout the year. We have a temporary gallery space in the West Village in the West Beth housing. This year we have some amazing presentations. Will Rawls is going to be there. Claire Chase, Lucinda Childs. It's going to be a really wonderful year of dance and performance and video work that will be presented. And I am in charge of the education and community program. So we're inviting folks to come in and take artist workshops and hear from our curators, and all of our community programs are free. So yeah, look out for us. We're thekitchen.org, and I'm Bridget. If you're interested, go ahead and tap me. I'll give you my business card. Wow, perfect. Thanks.
Thanks. Next here we have Ken Leach. And then we have Peggy, Raul, and Miss Spooner. You can all come at once. It's okay, and line up here. That'll be. That's fine too, of course. Of course. You can speak for him, Raul.
Yeah, he can. Speaking on behalf of Ken Leach, who has been a tenant for 39 years at the Hudson Hotel. I am here to stand with my neighbors and to represent the others who are infirm or have chosen not to be present. I share the same degrading and humiliating living circumstances we have all endured over the past 3 years under current ownership. Just blocks from Billionaires Row, this owner has turned our 57th Street building into a tenement, including filthy halls and stairwells, constant dust, elevator, water outages, as well as insect, mice, and rat issues that have caused past security guards to quit. Currently, both our entry doors are randomly functioning, and anyone can enter the building past sleeping or non-present guards. For myself, I keep buckets of water in the hallway to flush the toilet when waking up to a water emergency. I keep the bathroom door closed because the shower has annoyingly dripped for 2 years. Last week, I paid an outside plumber $400 to fix the sink that has not functioned since last August. The water itself is not fit to drink, appearing to contain rust that stains both tub and sink. I am lucky enough to have a bedroom, but it has a bare concrete floor because the carpeting was torn out after an unattended water leak caused black mold. I mention all this to say I am dubious of the owner upholding any contracts or promises he may make to accomplish this goal of finishing the project. Anything signed cannot have room for later misinterpretation. Thank you. No, good check.
Hi, I'm Peggy Chain, and I have lived at the Hudson Hotel for the last 55 years. And you just heard what it's like living there, the hellish conditions for the last 3 years. We are all eager to see things move forward. The project was supposed to be completed in 2.5 years. We're 3 years into it, and all that's happened is 3 years ago, all of the walls have been knocked down inside the building. So I am here to say that we are all eager and willing to do whatever we can to move the project forward and get things done so we can live a somewhat normal life again.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Now I'm speaking for myself. First of all, I want to thank all of you for, gosh, the time and commitment and work and hard work that it takes to serve on the community board. I was there just a couple of months ago, so I know exactly what it takes. I want to especially thank the co-chairs of the Housing Committee, Maria Ortiz and Joe Restuccia, so I don't think he's here, and all the members of the Housing Committee who've had to deal with these housing issues, including the Hudson Hotel. In fact, the owners of the Hudson presented at the last meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago to present their proposal for the cure that was originally not accepted. And during that presentation, the owner's attorney made the claim that none of the tenants were interested in relocating. That is an absolute lie. I don't know if lying is in vogue nowadays. It might be based upon what's going on in our political times. But I speculate that the reason he said that is because if he can claim to HPD that no tenant is willing to relocate, then they'll speed up the process and approve his cure. I want to tell you that it is not true. We want to relocate the Hudson. There are many Hudson tenants sitting back there. They want to either permanently relocate or temporarily relocate. We have already gone through the intake forms by Goddard Law Project, the income qualification. So we are ready to move forward. You have a letter in front of you, item number 72. We recommend some changes that you talk about that there be no ambiguity in terms of we want to relocate. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Raul. And we miss you on the board. I did want to mention, Raul mentioned that just for board members' edification, this is number 72. Right, Joe and Maria, this is a letter that's coming out of HHHS for tonight, just so you guys know that's what they're talking about. Go ahead. Is it Lalana?
Close, Leanna.
Layana.
Yes.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Okay, so good evening. My name is Leanna Spooner, and I'm the manager at Columbus Library. And I just came to just give you a few exciting updates on different programs that we have at Columbus Library. So Mondays from 11:30 to 1 p.m., we do scrapbooking for adults. On Tuesdays and Fridays, we do story time, and we do that at 11 a.m. On Wednesdays, we do crafts for young ones. And on every second and fourth Saturday, we have a writing circle. And we also recently launched a horror book club, which is very well attended. All right. It has one of the biggest turnouts. And we also have every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., we have conversational English, right? So, and the September we'll come up with new programs. So every month we're looking at new programs and we're just seeing what the community needs, and they've been successful. And I welcome you to come by Columbus Library and visit us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming.
Of course.
For telling us. We can always mail out if you also Josephine. There you go. Okay. So we thought it was going to be a robust public session. We have over 45 people signed up, but I think 3 are online from 45, right? Why don't I take your order instead of calling this out, obviously? Because it won't be, yeah.
So it's Salinas, Susan Kenny.
Perfect. Salinas, can you hear me? Gotcha.
Hello.
Hi, Salinas. Go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Okay, Salinas Miranda from the Elliott Houses. I will focus on the landscape of the NYCHA proposal. It will destroy for 7.5 acres of publicly accessible open space, includes all children's playgrounds, to replace with 5.5 acres of privately managed open space located between massive towers will require artificial lights to replace the sunlight. The Elliott Chelsea kids will have no alternative but play at the playground of the Parks and Recreation on 28th Street. This proposal will overpopulate and all families will be sharing the only space available on 28th Street. This includes families from Penn South and other surrounding community. The new open space will be useless as active space and be more like constrained courtyards, giving residents some required air circulation for their units, but nothing more. Other surrounding city parks and playgrounds will also be shadowed by the new high-rises. PS 33 and its playground permanently shadowed along with the open space next to the health clinic next door. The High Line and Hudson River Park will become shadowed for portions of the day, and other smaller parks and plazas that will be shadowed by the proposal. In the EIS, they are not showing the kind of active recreational spaces that currently exist at Elliott Chelsea. This plan isn't to create space for people or build a community. It's to make money for the developers' shareholders. And
Thank
those
you,
signs
Salinas.
will increase with this massive construction plan. Thank you also.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I do see Michael is on. Michael, can you hear me? Michael Hirachi?
Yeah, I can hear you. What am I speaking about?
You tell us.
This is open session, open mic thing?
You know what? This is the public session. It might have you signed up for it and we see you're online, but maybe
Yeah.
there's a confusion with the other session.
No, if I can speak in the public session, that's fine.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Yes, I want to thank Shireen Abu Akleh, Rashida Tlaib, Ilan Omar, Jamal Bowman, Hassan Nasrallah, Norm Finkelstein, Iran Supreme Leader Khamenei, Amy Goodman, Yahya Sinwar, Abu Obeida, Ansar Allah, Hezbollah, Saifullah Musalet, Aaron Bushnell, Rachel Curry, and Max Blumenthal, and many, many more for demonstrating what bravery, morality, and humanity are. Palestine has the right to self-defense. Stop all arms to Israel. Cut off all bonds and sanction the war criminals. I urge our community board to recommend starting tribunals now. We have Mossad agents at every level of our government, from Chuck Schumer to Brad Hoylman Segal, that are working on behalf of a foreign nation. I must remind our leaders that there are no statute of limitations for crimes against humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Susan, can you hear me? I know you were over before, but I think this is the session you want to speak in.
Yes. I
Hi,
can hear you.
Susan. Okay, great. Your 1 minute starts now. Thank you.
Oh, I want to know about,
I'm sorry?
like I said, I'm listening to the construction and the thing else put together. I want to know, still staying in our apartments and the station on her apartments instead of, I feel that this plan is not going stuck out there, and then they're gonna pay for what we have to do, city and everything else, and I'm needing to
Susan, I believe you're talking
to
about,
listen.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I believe you're talking about Chelsea and the new housing.
Yeah.
It just seems that your
Berta,
it just seems your connection is just a little off. Like we're hearing every maybe fifth word is going out.
With your audio, there's something wrong with your audio.
A little bit, yeah.
It's on your side, so that's
might be
to speak.
Sure.
Mr. Berta wanted to. He's here now.
Yeah, so, Susan, thank you for.
I need to have Jesse Dean.
Susan, we hear you, and we definitely will follow up. It's a little hard to hear in the room because it's cutting out a bit, but we're definitely follow up and we're taking note of what you said. Thank you. Oh, wait.
Mr. Berta wants to speak.
Okay, I think we might have the same issue, but go ahead. Let's give it another try.
Issue is with the setup that you have set up for the input of the, because every other word and from whoever hears this, continuing that segment of the show.
Yeah.
You listen to whoever you have there, and then working technically. I think it's outrageous.
Yeah, I think,
It's sad that we have to go through this. Thank
no, we hear you and we have your information. We can definitely follow up. So
Hey,
don't think
yes.
you.
that we
I
don't
only
hear
have
you.
half of it.
I
Thank you very
half of
much.
it. I don't have all of it.
Thank you. Is that it off our long
Get
list?
out of it.
Or no one else? We're done? Yeah, is there anyone online wish to, yeah, well, and thank you. Anyone online that wishes to speak? No? Yep. Lizette, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes,
great. Okay, Lizette, you get 1 minute, okay?
thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I understand that as community board members, you're all volunteers and that's commendable. In essence, as community board members, you're the eyes and ears of their communities, working to ensure that local needs are heard and addressed by the city government. So taking that definition, you invited elected officials to attend a town hall to discuss their positions and for all of us to listen to their comments and propose solutions. However, the solutions shared with us at the town hall last Monday were non-committal and many of them have truth. I'm asking that as CB4 members, stop using the excuse that you don't understand all the details as a reason not to seek tenant-driven solutions. As community members, we cannot accept your neutral stance or lack of full understanding of the proposed Fulton Chelsea demolition plan. Join the Chelsea community in holding our elected leaders accountable to their constituents, not to powerful interests. As several of you mentioned last Monday, you're frustrated by hearing the same points that get us nowhere. I personally support those of you who expressed tired talking without seeking solutions. Please go for that suggested special session in August and get all the answers that you're still looking for. You don't need to look far. Simply listen to the tenants, go and visit them, witness their living conditions, and together with them, demand from the elected officials that their living conditions be optimized as of yesterday.
Thank you,
So they
Lizette.
can finally live in dignity in their homes. That will be the
Thank you,
responsible
Lizette.
thing to do. Don't demolish, renovate. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And then, okay, great. Alexa, I see you're there, but I don't know if you could hear me. Alexa, can you hear me? Alexa Cruz? And you are muted, I believe. If you want to take yourself off mute. Okay, in the meantime, Marnie, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, great, Marnie. Go ahead. Your 1 minute starts now. Thanks.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to say that there's been a couple of articles. Pix 11, Greg Mocker is the reporter, came a couple days ago to the senior building. They had basically a rally. And also there was like a presentation on a Know Your Rights presentation. And he covered, I refer to that. Also, David Brand also did a story about how HOU is harassing the seniors, which is really, really bad. So you guys should be against it. But I'm just going to repeat what I board, just that the community board needs to take a position that they're against the demolition and also against privatization, because privatization will increase the rents and thus evict people. So that also, number one, Fight for Nitro has a lawsuit. It needs to go through ULERP. Hello. So you guys need to take a position on that, a very lengthy process where actually the community board, you guys can actually weigh in, which is I'm sure what you guys want. But so that's number one. Number two, NYCHA let the developer put in the second RFP, which was materially different from the first. The first RFP was like repairs and no demolition. Now this is all demolition. So that's illegal. And you guys know that. So you guys should say that. You guys need to take a position. And there
Thank
was
you,
much
Marnie.
stronger language. Okay, thank you.
I think we have one. Yeah, let's try. Alexa, can you hear me? We see that. Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, I had a little problem here.
Oh, okay. No, we hear you now. So go ahead. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay. I always say the same thing. I want to say section 9. I don't want the affordable, because the affordable is not, affordable for low income people. I want no demolition. I don't want no privatization. I'll always and say the same thing over and over and over again until somebody listens. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexa. I believe that's it, right? Okay, that's a nice surprise. Okay, here ends the public session. Thank you, everybody.
Sorry, thank you all. Thank you, Leslie. You should all have a copy of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Thank you, Kevin. Second, Paul, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Great. The agenda is adopted. As it relates to the minutes, I want to thank Katie Stokes and Candace Hewitt, who I believe helped support that. I was going to mention it a bit later, but I want to acknowledge Candace, who's here, has actually stepped down from the board. And so we're in a bit of a baton handing over, and delighted to welcome Rachel Lee now as co-secretary. So to the extent they all, and Katie, who helped really ensure that the minutes were produced for this last month's meeting, thank them all. Can I get a motion to, sorry, there's a correction. I think, yeah, Kevin, if you can grab the mic. Or we can just.
That's all right. I'll just, Kevin, if it's all right, I'll just do it for you. So, there was one of the, actually, I don't remember the name of the number of the letter. Kevin, you want to remind me? 56? 45. So the minutes report that that letter was approved. That was actually sent back to committee. It is on your agenda tonight to vote on. So that was just the correction that will be made in the draft minutes.
Great.
Thank you, Kevin, for
the-
catching.
yes, thank you for the close read. Can I get a motion to adopt the minutes as amended? Kevin, thank you. Second. Second. Thank you, Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Terrific. As mentioned at the top of our meeting, we expected and still do have a very robust business agenda. So we alerted our electeds ahead of time that we would only be hearing from principals this evening. I believe that we are joined by Senator Brad Hoylman-Siegel. And so while we'll still ask you to keep your remarks brief, but we are happy to have you, and we'll turn it over to you. Hi, Senator.
All right, good to see everyone. Hold on, I'm so sorry. That's better. Brad Hoylman-Siegel, State Senator. First, apropos of what was just flashed on the screen inadvertently, I just wanted to thank everyone that it would appear that if I am successful in November, I'll be your next borough president. And I just wanted to promise the board a real level of engagement. And I know the board thinks that it has, and I think it's true, taken a lot of weighty responsibilities on its own. But I want you to know that I'm going to be lockstep by your side in consultation on all the issues that face our community in conjunction with our local elected officials. So I just wanted to put that out there. We finished the legislative session. I know we only have a few more seconds left. I'm very pleased to say that I passed 62 bills this legislative session, including some big ones, which I would name as the Medical Aid in Dying Act, which is groundbreaking legislation to allow New Yorkers who have a diagnosis of 6 months or fewer, with the consent of at least 2 physicians and who are mentally competent, to prescribe medicine to end their lives with dignity. New York would be the 11th state, in addition to the District of Columbia, to have such a law. I also passed a bill called the Support Act with Assemblymember Simone, requiring that non-felony defendants who are found unfit to proceed to trial be connected with services and resources for their long-term emotional and mental stability. I passed a bill called the Trans Shield Act, which strengthens protections for reproductive health care and gender affirming care providers, patients, and helpers from being investigated and punished by prosecution in red states. So that means if you are seeking an abortion or gender affirming care for a young person and come to New York, you can be protected from out of state prosecution. I passed a bill with Assemblywoman Rosenthal called the Rent Algorithms Act, which makes it unlawful for landlords to use algorithm driven services, which effectively result in collusion between landlords on rent related decision making. For example, getting recommendations based upon private information about rent histories shared by other landlords. I passed a bill called the Jack Reed Law, which expands bullying and harassment protections in private religious or denominational educational institutions, which is very similar to our Dignity for All Students Act, which is for our public schools. I strengthened our LLC Transparency Act by ensuring that domestic companies will still comply with our New York disclosure laws, which I passed last session, after the Trump administration issued a rule to limit the application of federal law to only foreign companies. I passed the Tenant Rent Check Act, which caps the fees of that a residential tenant has to pay for a bounce check to a landlord to the greater of the landlord's cost, or $20. And I passed a bill called, well, we're calling it the Penn South Act, which will allow Penn South to reduce its shelter rent payments to the lesser of 5% of shelter rent or taxes paid between 2000 and 2021, which is whichever is less, putting Penn South on the same footing as Mitchell-Lamas pursuant to the shelter rent provisions that we enacted in this year's budget. That'll save Penn South, we estimate, up to $2 million annually, and hopefully that money will be passed on to increased maintenance. Wanted you to know about those bills. Again, look forward to future collaboration. Really appreciate your town hall. 2 weeks ago, I was online out of town, but really welcome the engagement that the board has shown so professionally. So thank you very much. Good to see everyone.
Thank you, Senator. Do you have a minute if there are any questions?
Of course.
Okay. Are there any questions? We'll have
I'm
one.
sitting in the beautiful Jefferson Market Garden here in Greenwich
All
Village.
right. Well, we'll get you, Dave, you need to get a mic and you can go ahead and ask a question. I see you. It's on.
Hi, Senator Harleman. Can you tell us why you didn't attend the recent town hall on the NYCHA plan? And do you still support the plan, even though there's plenty of evidence that it's opposed by the majority of the residents?
Can you say your name?
I'm Dave Holoka. Sorry.
Yes. Hey, Dave. As I told, yes, I support the plan, as I think you know, and I've told, but I'm not finished, Dave, with engagement on the plan. That plan will be squarely before the Manhattan Borough President, the next Manhattan Borough President, whoever he or she is, come January. And as the board knows, I was out of town during that time and had representatives there, both my chief of staff and Jonah Rose, our community board 4 liaison, who's there with one of our fantastic summer interns.
Thank you. Any other questions? We have one question from the public and then we're going to wrap it up. We'll need you to grab the mic. So if you want to, I know you have a bum foot, Paul, thank you. And just say your name and
how you doing?
Our last question.
Anthony Tyrone. How you doing, Mr. Holloman?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay. How's it going? I just wanted to talk to Ben in your office regarding some external issues around our building, homelessness and the noise. So I think I've been addressing those issues for a little while now. So have you heard any input on that? And the other issues I'll deal with it internally. But I wanted to ask you, have you heard anything else regarding the noise, if anybody's acting on that?
Well, I know that my team has been discussing with you, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would love to sit down with you in the next couple of weeks and see where we're at, if that's a good path for you.
Great. That was an affirmation from him. Senator,
Good.
thank you so much. Enjoy
Thank you very much.
beautiful Jefferson Market, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, Jesse, do we have no one? Okay. All right. And we acknowledge and thank the other staff who are here and appreciate you reporting back. And we'll look forward to welcoming you at future meetings. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jesse for our district manager's report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jesse Bodine, District Manager of Community Board 4. I'll be brief. So the month of August is upon us, and we currently only have one committee that is meeting in the month of August. That is our Business License and Permit Committee. That'll be meeting in August, on Tuesday, August 12th at 6:30. Upcoming full board meetings, I just want to make sure you guys have this on your calendar. Okay. Back. The next meeting would be our full board meeting, which will be September 3rd, and that's going to be at Pier 57. And then I would just like to make sure everybody writes this down in their calendar that October's full board meeting, due to the Jewish holidays, will be on Tuesday, September 30th. Again, Tuesday, September 30th, not Wednesday, the next day. And that will be at Mount Sinai West. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Jesse. I just want to acknowledge there's been the only committee meeting scheduled is the BLP meeting. There is some discussion about CLU potentially having a meeting that may or may not happen, but seeing as it's not set yet, we're not announcing that date or anything thereof. But just so folks know. For the chair report, again, I want to thank Candace for her service and recognize her work as member and co-secretary. Candace made the decision to step down from the board, and with that, it did reopen a seat, and we're pleased to welcome back Viren, who I saw over here, Viren Brumblatt, back to the board. And with Candace's departure, as I mentioned, I want to thank Rachel Lee for stepping into the role as co-secretary. I wanted to acknowledge in September, we will hit the ground running with our budget task force, which is chaired by our second vice chair, Roberta Barnett. This is really gives you a 360 bird's eye view of all of the different topics and issues the board deals with as it comes together through the budget task force for it to work on a statement of district needs and advocate on behalf of our district for the needs in our district to our city government. And so if anyone is interested in joining the budget task force, which again will convene in September, you should let Jesse know and Roberta know, and they will work with you. It is a really incredible learning opportunity. Again, it gives you a real 360 view. And while it is, there's certainly work associated with it, it has a shortened, condensed timeline, and I think is really a great onboarding experience for the board, or just as people want to continue to get more engaged. Over the last couple of months, in June, Jesse testified or submitted testimony at City Council Government Operations Committee regarding community board and operations support. Some will remember there was discussion around the role of who hires and term limits applied to district managers. So Jesse offered testimony there. He also provided testimony to the City Council on the Subcommittee on Zoning regarding Midtown South Mixed Use Plan, which this board had spent a lot of time on. In July, Roberta again provided testimony to the City Charter Commission regarding the proposed changes to the city charter. And during that time, we also signed on to a borough board letter that, which is us joining with other boards across Manhattan to underscore the importance of community board involvement and community involvement in land use changes. Later in the month, Christine provided testimony to New York City DOT regarding speed limits on e-bikes and e-scooters, and I believe we have a letter on that this evening. Jesse and I then also attended a briefing by NYPD and their new quality of life division, and we're looking forward to hearing from our local precincts as that program is rolled out and staffed. And for those who will remember, we've been hearing from precincts at most of our meetings, obviously not this evening, but we'll continue to hear from them and consider how we can also get updates on the quality of life division's efforts. Tomorrow night, we have our social town hall. So we encourage all of you on the board to come. I believe you're welcome and encouraged to bring a +1 if you are interested. It'll be catered. I think it's not going to be as hot as we thought it was going to be tomorrow. It will be on the High Line, so it should be nice and breezy and a good chance for us just to, say hi and kick off the summer together. The last thing I wanted to mention, and I didn't prepare remarks on this. I was expecting we would hear a lot more about this over the course of tonight's meeting. As was noted on July 9th, we had the NYCHA FEC Town Hall, which, as I mentioned at the top, came out of our request at a March meeting to hear from electeds. We did invite all of our local elected officials. We had coordinated our selection of that date around their schedule. After a last-minute cancellation, as you heard, we learned about 6 weeks before the event that that Brad had a conflict. We expected we were still going forward with the offices of 4. At the last minute, Borough President Mark Levine declined to participate, sending a rep. And really that really threw, I mean, it was very last minute, and it really threw us into a discussion, an intense discussion about whether or not we should continue and have the meeting or reschedule. And as I think you can all imagine, this was very difficult because it was very much a discussion at many of our committees and board meetings about the electeds needing to hear and us needing to hear from them. We decided to proceed in part because, as people have since noted and have been noting since the release of the FEIS last month, that the proposed project is moving forward, and to wait would be to further delay what many had felt was an important opportunity, as I said, to hear from our electeds and for us to ask them the questions that we had all been grappling with about the scope of their support or willingness to hear alternative ideas related to the project. It was probably, I mean, this is more personal than on behalf of the board, but I will just say it was probably the hardest thing, not even the event, but leading up to it, dealing with all of the various stakeholders and being pulled in so many directions about what people thought would be the purpose of the event, as well as what would allow us to execute on a high quality event. I know that there are many people who feel disappointed that it perhaps did not achieve our ultimate or initial aims. And to that, I would say that we continue to have opportunities to discuss this topic, and our electeds affirmed their willingness to continue to show up in public. And so whether that's at maybe a future town hall or committee meetings or private meetings, I think that, you know, we shouldn't assume that that is the end of the story as it relates to our ongoing engagement with electeds. And so I want to thank the folks who were distinctly involved, Greg, Joe, Maria, Jesse, of course, and others who offered guidance and support. I got long notes. I got a lot of questions, very detailed considerations from Kevin, from Leslie, and from many others, Viren. And of course, we got 100+ questions that were submitted ahead of time. We also went back through all of our old letters for questions we felt had not been adequately addressed. And in the room, we took note card questions, which have now been summarized and I believe were circulated at Clue and will be available to anybody on the board. And so we have, you know, upwards of 150 questions. You can imagine some of them are duplicates, but 150 questions related to the project, individuals' concerns, as well as community concerns and everything in between. And so I would just note that you have, I think, our entire, my commitment, but really I think everyone's commitment that we're going to continue to work hard on this. We were just alerted with about a meeting next Tuesday with the Attorney General on tenants' rights. And so looking forward to moving forward on that. And just also so everyone feels a little bit on the same page, and then I'll wrap this up. But following the FEIS, the next step is that the federal government has to issue a record of decision, after which time there will be a 90-day notification period before they can start demolition. They have not issued a record of decision. They have not indicated when they will issue the record of decision. It doesn't mean it couldn't be tomorrow, but it could also be in 6 weeks. And then the 90 days or 3 months period starts after that time. And I want to remind everyone that the demolition of these buildings, once they receive the ROD, is as of right. And so while we will continue to push for ULURP, as you heard, and I think everything we've ever said in whether it's City of Yes or charter revision has been to underscore the importance of ULURP. And so we will continue to do that here. We need to acknowledge maybe our frustration and disappointment, but as of right means that there is, for that part of the project, no ULURP function. That doesn't mean that we can't be advocates, and it doesn't mean we don't have a voice. And then finally, sorry, I just want to say that I have said, and it has been repeated, I said at the town hall, to remind folks of our role as advisory, which is not to say that it's not important. It is just to say that when people say, how could you not do X, Y, Z, or why isn't your effort stopping this or starting it or moving it forward or not moving it forward, it is to say that we simply don't hold that function or ability. And so again, it is not to say that we don't play an important role. And I think we need to use our power as we do in so many other issues with our electeds and other community stakeholders. But I think it's also important that we be honest and clear, and that also that the expectations that are set upon us are understood. So with that, again, I recognize that the town hall was imperfect. I'm not sure, I don't believe perfect was possible. And I think we got, I think we did something that was helpful, and we did receive quite a lot of positive feedback while also recognizing frustration and disappointment. And so both are true. So with that, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So with that, we're going to move to the business of our meeting. Every meeting for the last 3 meetings, I've said, and tonight BLP sets a record, but I think actually tonight BLP sets a new record of 54 letters. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Wendy.
Thank you, Jessica. Wendy Gonzalez, co-chair of BLP, and we love setting records at BLP. But the good news is there's really nothing out of the ordinary. We can bundle all of these together. So these were all pretty straightforward, and quite a few are just ratifications. So thank you. We're a very efficient committee. But I will take any questions if anyone has questions. All right, we're 54 items through the agenda. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And I'll now turn it to Greg for clue, 3 letters, including 1 for ratification.
Hi, folks. Online, some folks have their hand up in the attendee section. Just understand this is the business portion of the board's meeting, and so therefore we're not taking comment from the public. So I will be lowering your hand. But I'm doing that with understanding that that's just not allowed at the public session right now.
So 3 letters for clue. Item number 55 is for ratification. The Chelsea Land Use Committee approved with conditions a certificate for appropriateness at 521, 537 West 25th Street. The applicant needed to do a couple things to be able to ensure that approval, and they made that commitment, and that's everything from modifications to the planting of trees. Item number 56 is related to a letter that we pulled in the June meeting. We withdrew it to edit it. It still requires some edits. So I have to note for you, there are some lines that need to be removed from this draft. The first is down line, so between line 32, strike the words underscoring through the end of line 34, interpretation. That was not voted on by virtue of the committee. So that needs to be stricken from this particular letter. The other issue is that the date needs to be corrected. It's noted as June 4th. It needs to be corrected. That's item number 56. And that's related, sorry, but this is related to facades and the importance and the critical nature of facade repair that needs to take place at NYCHA. And then we have item number 57. It's proposed changes to the signage master plan, Star at Lehigh Building, 601 West 26th Street in Manhattan. The committee approved that, the condition to exclude brand logos from the revised signage master plan. Happy to answer any questions. Happy to sit back down. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. We'll go over, I don't know, Leslie Marty, who's taking WPE. Okay. And then next on deck will be transportation.
Hello, everybody, WPE. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Gosh, with BLP out of the way. It's like we're already down there. The first letter is, actually the first two letters are pretty common WPE letters. One is on Hudson River Park Trust Esplanade renovation, which is welcome. And the other one is DeWitt Clinton Park renovations. I'll stop there because I want to know if anyone has any questions with those. Sure, JD, because there's a mic here.
You're welcome. Thank you. Two questions.
Yes.
When you talk about the mosaics, there are some at that park, there are some plaques on the west wall which have the names of former Hell's Kitchen residents. Are those the mosaics you're talking about?
I think you're talking about the Matthews Palmer letter.
Yes.
We're talking, yes, this is DeWitt Clinton.
I'm sitting down.
No, it's okay. You can, but we're going to talk about that now. But I, if no one has any questions on those letters.
I had one.
Sure, Rachel.
So on letter 58 about the Hudson River Park renovation, were there any disruptions to community usage identified during the renovation period and any mitigation?
So this is
efforts
going,
identified during
that's a great question. It's going to be west of the pathway. So the bike lane and the pathway will not be considerably disrupted. It's going west towards on the waterfront.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Bless you. Okay, the next one, JD, but hold on, this is Matthews Palmer, bathroom reno. And I just want to preface this letter by saying this really could have been a run-of-the-mill letter on a fairly contained park bathroom renovation. But I believe what struck our committee was that this is a renovation of a bathroom facility. It's not even a tear down of a bathroom facility. And it is costing $2.2 million. And the timeline is 3 years, over 3 years. And yes, we could have just sent a letter saying, yes, change the tile, make it pretty, whatever. But we at WPE thought this would be a great opportunity to say, this is ridiculous. This should not be, and we want to highlight it. And why is it? And I want to thank Katie Savage for writing this and most of the language. Thank you, Katie, that it was very well done. So we wanted to take this to highlight that and it's not just parks. This is emblematic of a bigger city problem with a lot of different city agencies, but we thought this was so egregious to us that we thought we would highlight it. Now go ahead, JD.
Thank you. And Paul has cleared up my first question. Thank you, Paul. My second question, not part of the letter, but the Arnold Belkin mural. Was there any discussion about that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Arnold Belkin mural on the east wall. Was there any discussion about that at your committee?
It's not going to be touched at all. There's no.
Okay.
This is just, it's very, very limited. In fact,
Gotcha.
they say that even the entrance near there should be pretty much open for most of it. It will be closed for some of it, but it's very, very, very isolated to just the bathroom.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. No. Anyone else on Matthews Palmer? No. Okay, our last letter is our highlight letter. And I'll explain why. So the most recent edited version was put in your Dropbox today. And so everyone should have gotten that. But I want to take a moment to spotlight this letter because this is, oh, Brad, you're here. Good, because I want to mention you. This letter is a huge, huge, huge win for our community. This is a big win for our community board. A few years back, our WPE committee proposed that the EDC take $1 per passenger coming off the Manhattan cruise ship terminals and put it into a fund that goes directly into projects into projects in the immediate Hell's Kitchen community. And actually, Brad mentioned it, so I want to give Brad a ton of credit. And I'm glad he's here. Yeah, so obviously everyone rolled their eyes and said we're not going to do that, but we didn't stop. And our committee kept advocating for it. So now it is coming to fruition. This is actually happening. When I say we, our immediate Hell's Kitchen community is going to get about $500,000 to $750,000 a year in perpetuity into a specific community fund. This is not a city fund. This is not a city fund. This is not a government fund. This is a direct Hell's Kitchen community fund that's going to go towards, really it was because I guess, to mitigate some of the pollution or all the pollution that was coming out of the cruise ships. Obviously that can never be reversed, but some of this will go towards, or most of it will go towards, environmental endeavors in our community. This letter is kind of outlining some of the stipulations and some of the wishes that we have. Marty and I would definitely like to thank Sarah Appleton, who former full member, now a WPE public member, who contributed to the wording and part of this letter as well. But if anyone has anything to say, or I should say, questions about this is it.
I just want to say thank to both our chairs, because the city, once they saw the money coming in, tried to take it. They really did. So Leslie and they really fought to get it back to our community. So thank you, guys.
Anyone, any other questions? I honestly don't know of any other community board that can say that they're going to get at least $700,000 a year that's going directly into the community. So you guys should give yourself, all of you guys helped out with this. So thank you. Brooklyn. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Jesse with transportation.
Oh boy. Hi, everybody. I'm not going to go letter by letter because I think a lot of these are short, small fixes, recommendations, and self-explanatory. But just to highlight, we do have another letter to Flixbus to yet again try to improve their operations on the lot with their lot on 31st Street. Although they have made some improvements, they still have a long way to go, and we've made some recommendations to them, including trying to get them to open up the cut through on 30th Street. We have at least one member who doesn't think that will be possible, but we still encourage them to try and look at it. Park regulation. We also have a letter to EDC who came and presented about they're required to actually implement a traffic mitigation plan because of a local law that was passed. And so they've presented us with their 3-month and 6-month, so short to medium term plans as they look at further fixes. And the main issue is obviously the traffic backs up, cars going into the terminal, backing up on Route 9A and into our district. And so we heard some decent ideas from them. We had some other suggestions, and we were particularly concerned that one of their fixes is trying to turn cars into Hell's Kitchen, making them turn the right on West 57th or West 56th Street, and then circling around, which we obviously don't want to push that kind of traffic onto our local streets. So we suggested strongly that they should not do that. And then the other letter that I really wanted to highlight for the group is last time I spoke to you all, it was to speak about our letter opposing the criminalization of bike infractions, and we said we were going to come back with some other suggestions on laws that could be passed to improve bike safety, because obviously that continues to be a problem. And so what we have done that. We have a proposal where we suggest that bikes are classified and categorized into 2 different types of bikes. These are e-bikes, excuse me. Those that go less than 15 miles an hour and those that go more than 15 miles an hour. And if it's less than 15 miles an hour, you get to ride in the bike lane. We want you to, there's no licensing. Hopefully, our police officers are able to increase their enforcement of infractions there. But what we really wanted to do was to push for, and we are pushing for and calling for, a licensing regime for those e-vehicles and mopeds that go over 15 miles an hour. And they should be absolutely forbidden from going into the bike lanes. They should be licensed. Everyone should be registered so we know who they are. And specifically for those mopeds and faster e-vehicles that are owned and operated by delivery drivers for the apps, we lay out a number of suggestions on how the apps themselves should create a licensing scheme and run it themselves and make all of their delivery drivers wear vests with their license numbers. This shouldn't have to fall on the rest of us when these private enterprises are part of such a large part of the reason that we have such havoc on our streets caused by e-bikes. So that is a letter that we've written. It is slightly different than the bill that Brad Hoylman has proposed. So I'm hoping to work with his office or whoever is next and gets the bill passed to them to try to tweak the language of their bill based on this letter. I think that's it for me. Questions? Rachel.
My question is on letter 64, the one we're requesting DOT to adjust their parking regulations on West 33rd. So just question is, the letter is pretty lean. So what was the impetus for the letter? Were there community concerns, complaints?
Yes, hold on. 64. 64. I think this was, yeah, it's I think this was oh boy, it's been a while. Anyone remember from our committee? This was the restaurant. Was this the restaurant? The fair was, right? This is where the fair was. And then a restaurant wanted to be able to have outdoor dining, but because of what was happening here, they couldn't. So we were suggest the no standing. So we were suggesting you can remove the no standing so they can have their outdoor dining.
That's really helpful. Friendly amendment to maybe include that.
Yes, it would be good for
In
me
a
too, so I remember.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse. I think Rodney is taking cannabis task force this evening. Gotta be careful.
Hi, Rodney again, standing in for the cannabis chair. We have 2 letters. Any questions?
Okay. Thank you, Rodney. For our exec letter, I'm going to turn it to Roberta. Roberta, I can hand you this mic if you prefer.
Thank you. So this letter is a testimony provided to the Charter Revision Commission. The mayor convened a Charter Revision Commission this year to recommend questions to go on the ballot in November. Those questions were advanced and will appear on your ballot in November this Monday. And so there are now 5 questions. This letter, we received synthesized comments from HHS, CLUE, TPC, and WPE, support, TLDR, or too long, don't read, support creating efficiencies to create affordable housing resiliency infrastructure, but wanted to preserve public review and especially local community board input. The board also decided to support even year elections as a means of supporting public engagement. And so this was considered by the commission. When the commission voted to advance these proposals, 4 of which deal with land use, there was an expedited land use process, but both of those first 2 retain community board review, the 60-day community board review as it exists today, which was a key request of this as well as other boards. Do recommend taking a look at these questions prior to November. You can find them on the Charter Revision Commission website. If you put into Google or you go to nyc.gov/charter/reports. If you have any questions, Sanford?
All right. If you don't mind, I have some notes. I have a lot of thoughts on this letter. So yeah, I'm not going to vote for this letter. I know it's a ratification letter, so the comments have already gone out, but I think that I do not support this letter for a couple of reasons. We always talk about being in a housing crisis. No one disputes that. This is a chance. The proposals, several of which the ballot question proposals, several of which the letter is quite critical of, are a rare chance to make a meaningful citywide impact to address the root causes of the housing crisis. So the letter was written before the actual language of the ballot questions was released publicly. So that's one aspect, is just a lot of the concerns put forth in the letter are just not valid anymore because they were about things that did not actually manifest in the ballot questions. There's also a lot of questions about we need more information, which was true at the time, but the full 100-page text of the actual amendments to the charter is now available, and those questions are no longer questions, they are answered. One important example of this is there was a lot of concern in the letter about reducing the 60-day timeline on community board review. That did not happen. That would be bad if it happened. Like with our schedule, we do need it to be 60 days. All the other community boards needed it to be 60 days too, but that did not happen. And that was part of the opposition to some of the proposals, which is just, in fact, it was retained as 60 days. So it doesn't really make sense. Another thing I want to just note is that any project that had community board review will still have community board review under the proposed, if these changes to the city charter pass, everything that had community board review will still have it, and will still have it for 60 days. Some other steps of the ULURP process will be removed or changed. There will be less hearings, but our review will actually, in some ways it'd be more important because we're now the main reviewer. So I think that's kind of just important context. I also want to address some of the specific proposals that we in the letter comment on negatively and are against, at least in part or in whole. The biggest one is the proposals to fast track two different types of housing, one being 100% affordable projects. I think that's sort of self-evident that there is a shortage of 100% affordable projects, and that I think delaying them would be cruel. The other one is what are modest increases would not be required to go through the full ULURP, although they would still not be, as of right, modest increases to what is allowed under the current zoning. There was a lot of questions in the letter about, what does modest mean, which is totally fair. However, in the language that has been released since, it's quite clear and extremely legalistically specific about what that would actually entail. I'm not going to go into detail about what they are because it is complicated, but you can look at the amendments and see it's very strictly defined what is a modest increase. And I do want to just take a moment to say, why that is so important. People often call this type of housing where you get a modest density increase. It's 30% in most cases, up to a 30% FAR increase, is so important. And it really doesn't happen under ULURP today because it's just so expensive due to that process. It's only worth it to do it if you're a developer and you can build double or triple, it's worth it. But if not, it's just infeasible. If you go through ULURP, the only way it economically makes sense is to do a huge size increase, which isn't necessarily bad, but it is going to inherently stir up some controversy because it's going to be different than what's surrounding it. But this is going to allow neighborhoods to act organically. Neighborhoods that have single-family homes and small apartment buildings now can get a few more small apartment buildings or townhouses that wouldn't be allowed in the existing zoning, but do not represent a huge step up and allow the kind of organic growth that not every neighborhood needs skyscrapers. We have skyscrapers, it works here, but it does not work everywhere. It doesn't even work in every part of this district. But that kind of missing middle housing is so important to helping a city grow organically and in a way that's actually desirable for the residents, and creates great neighborhoods. And it's just basically impossible under a ULURP system today. So I think it's sort of easy to gloss over. It's very technical, but I think that's a super important part of the proposal. And our letter basically says we shouldn't do that. And I strongly disagree with that. Also just want to call out, for a related or a two trees, having 3 months shorter process may not matter. They can afford to pay their loans for a few more months. But for a smaller developer, an affordable housing developer, a nonprofit developer, that's a big difference. That can really make projects possible and we want those developers to be able to do more projects. Okay. And then lastly, it's probably the most controversial thing I say. I think member deference is bad. I know this is a controversial topic among the various committees that talked about this. But the truth is, it's not our member. It's not Eric Bottcher. It's across the city. There are some, it's not the majority, but there's a meaningful number of city council members who are just like very NIMBY and nothing ever gets built in their district. And it's very frustrating to me and I think it should be frustrating to all of you as like members of a community board that has encouraged and welcomed, with parameters to make it a desirable community, but has encouraged and welcomed statistically a huge amount of growth in our neighborhood and district for multiple decades. And I don't understand how we can sit here and see it's usually the same neighborhoods and it's certain council members basically hold the rest of the city hostage and just not build anything. And the amendments to the biggest amendment is ballot question 3, which gives a 3-person committee, which is the mayor, the borough president, and the city council speaker, who are all democratically elected, the ability to override a city council vote in ULURP. That is, I think, like there's actually a check on member deference if that were to pass. That is, like, if we continue to have member deference, some neighborhoods will continue to just not contribute at all indefinitely. We need to do something like this to stop that. Okay, to summarize, community board review is preserved in all cases that we had it before, and it's still 60 days. A lot of the letter is based on things that, like, did not happen to be true in the final proposed ballot questions, and the housing shortage is very real, very important, and this is a chance to actually do something about it by fast-tracking more affordable housing, more missing middle housing, and to stop certain neighborhoods from preventing building any housing at all. Sorry, that was very long, I know.
Are there any other comments or questions for Roberta? Mike, I just want to again acknowledge this is a letter for ratification, and these are great conversations for committee and for the work and for ongoing discussion specifically on projects or a future item, including our affordable housing plan, which will continue to be updated and hopefully approved later this evening. But go ahead.
Hi, Roberta. I have a question. I have a couple questions for you. So first, I want to mimic what Sanford said, that like the letter actually doesn't represent what's in the proposal. That's the first thing. And I have another question and kind of wondering how this came about in the letter. MCB4 supports even year elections as a means of increasing turnout and promoting greater accountability of elected officials. That's fantastic. And then it says MCB4 is not supportive of open primary elections. Like looking at the committees, like how did that come about? How did that line come about into this letter?
So just on the first point, it is certainly worth noting that because of the timeline, it was not possible to opine on the final proposals. So ultimately, it would have been inappropriate for me to just intuit what people's feedback on these proposals would be. So I provided the feedback as was provided by the committee members, just to be authentic to our public engagement process. On the even sure. So the committees, so that was HHS, CLU, TPC, and WPE. They took a look at the interim report and the questions that were posed in that interim report and opined on the questions that were initially asked in those reports. Now, many of those questions were not taken up by the commission in its final report, and you can see that on the Charter Commission website, but that is where these came from, and appended to this letter are, a number of pages of comments, including the position of taking a position on open primaries. This was a question that was brought up both, I believe, at HHS and then again at exec as to whether or not it would be appropriate to opine here, but it was what committee members chose to do, and exec chose to advance that, so it was included in the letter.
Yeah, I just want to be a little more clear for the membership. There were a whole series of questions, and at the point in time this arrived, those were the questions at hand. The open primaries was a question. That's why it's there, and we answered it. I don't have any notes here, except to say that 4 committees considered this, had a very robust and serious discussion, and wrote a letter, and many of the concerns that we brought up forth actually were embodied and listened to in the final version of the proposed charter revision. So it's a ratification of a letter we sent at a point in time, responding to the information we had at that point in time. And that has gone out and it represents our position. And it is not useless or unimportant. It at the time we had this information, that's what we found out. And in fact, we were actually listened to. So that's a good thing. Not everything is in our direction or in their direction, or it's somewhere between. Roberta, thank you so much for doing this together, and I urge everybody to vote for it. It's been sent out.
Okay.
Any further? Thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. We will now move to HHS, which has 3 items. And I just want to, again, Joe, you didn't hear, but I talked about the importance of the affordable housing plan and how much it has done for the board and the model it has set for the community. And I'll just use this opportunity to reiterate that and thank you and your staff and all of the committees who contribute to it to continue to have this tool that, again, sets the bar on housing development for the city.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry I was late. Just was dealing with a housing problem. The first letter is about 353 West 57th Street, cure for harassment for the Hudson Hotel. And the guts of this letter specifically is the elimination of continuance of transient hotel rooms in the building. The developer came back to us after hearing us loud and clear, saying we wanted a fully residential building, not one that had a mixture. So there could be hotel guests going in and out in a residential building. And they made changes to the plans, and we have reviewed that update, signed update, and we approved. I also know we got some correspondence from the Hudson Hotel Tenant Association. We'll put in some language about their willingness to temporarily relocate or permanently relocate into the letter. That's the first one. Next one is Black Spruce, and that's Maria.
If you're not freezing anymore, you're welcome. So this letter very briefly is to Black Spruce Management. They manage 14 buildings on 49th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue. We had a block association, HK 4954 Block Alliance, come in March and speak to the issues that were ongoing there, which were ongoing illegal activities and repair needs. And then for this meeting in July, management came back, the several steps they had taken to address the issues. And so this letter essentially is asking them to return in September with how they're addressing the issues that still remain, and to give us a letter, the committee, a written response before the September meeting, which is when we're asking them to return. Questions, comments? Nope. Okay.
The next item is the update to the affordable housing plan, for which we had the public hearing. And I will say that the majority of the updates, really the guts of them, are moving things from one category to another, adding in projects that were not conceived when it was last updated, and bringing clarity to things like AMI bands and numbers. But the biggest change, well, there's 2 items. One is under 421A, there's a section 421A, Roberta, A17, which allowed developers to extend their tax exemption in buildings that expired in exchange for another 5% of the units becoming affordable. And we didn't even understand how that program worked. We've now captured it, put it in the right place, and it's clear to the degree we know today. There's some of the developers that may have taken advantage of it. We're going to get that clear coming forth, again. And the other thing, though, is the big change is very high density zones. With the change with City of Yes, the new FARs of 15 and 18, we really had to look, because we found the Department of City Planning, developers were going for an upzoning, and they were saying, oh, don't go to up the zone from FAR 5, go to 12. No, they want to go 15 or 18. So we took a proactive position to say, in our district, here's where we want these very high density zones, and map them through a conversation between HHS and Clinton Land Use and Chelsea Land Use, and landed on specific locations, mostly along 11th Avenue in the West 30s, on some of the state-owned sites, and really said, do it here. This makes sense. Don't do it elsewhere. Those are the 2 major changes. Any questions? Oh my God.
For folks, this is
This many pages.
really required reading, and we did get the suggestion, which I'm just going to go ahead and say, that we do a webinar so folks can dig in it with you and others. So I want to I think that would be a great idea for everyone, but it is really required reading for everyone. And so if you haven't had the chance to dig in, I highly encourage it. And there is a memo that details all of the changes from this year to last year. So if you're really looking at like what's new here, read that as a companion. We do have one question.
Also want to thank Kevin for some specific items put in, Paul and Roberta, some technical things that we cleared up the language and made it much, much better.
Great.
Yes, Paul.
Just want to also applaud all the work that went into this, but I want to add one section. I can send you a note separately. On the City of Yes, we are actually at this plan promoting more housing and more affordable housing than would get accomplished with City of Yes. And I think we need to recognize that in our own commentary, that we are producing more housing than would happen under the City of Yes. And I think there's a section that we can add
Under the City of Yes for our district, as proposed.
Yes, but I think we need to add, we need to give ourselves.
You can show me some language, that'd be very helpful.
I just want to give a shout out to someone that works for Joe, and his name is Matt Sullivan. Some of you know him, some of you don't. Joe always has someone on staff help him with these things, help us with these things. Let's say that. And Matt is the current person that's doing that, and he's done an amazing job and being very responsive to our board always and trying to get back to us with information. So I just want to give a shout out to him. I know he's not on, but.
Yes, and as of today, I just want to note, unfortunately for our board, Matt Sullivan has been recruited by the Department of Transportation, New York City Department of Transportation, to become a planner specifically with charter buses. Might be helpful for us, for double-decker buses and for rideshare. But we had just hired a second planner, and that person starts in 2 weeks.
That's great. And for those who don't know, Matt's role often becomes a feeder for many of the agencies we wind up working with. So as Joe said, it's to our benefit. So thank
you so much.
Thank you for the update and for all the hard work. And congratulations to Matt, of course. And also we'll look to do that webinar. But the other thing I wanted to note on this is that we use this document in our discussions with city and state and other agencies to really try to not just have it be on record. So when they come to us and ask, and that we can be responsive quickly, but actually that we can be proactive in trying to activate these sites. And so we'll begin we're constantly engaged in that, but with a new version, gives a reason or a rationale momentum to re-engaging. So that's really exciting. We'll go to our last new business letter, and this is from ACES. And so I'll turn it to Josephine.
Thank you. So this letter is regarding PS 33, some very serious concerns regarding the redevelopment proposed project at the Fulton, Chelsea, NYCHA campuses. This is specifically related to the school, which is located on the Chelsea Elliott campus. They have some questions that they would like answered, hopefully before the start of the school year. So we felt it was very important to document their concerns. The only real change I have in this letter is that the school has actually been there for 70 years, not 40. So they have been a part of this community since 1951. So hopefully, the school community had submitted their questions during the public session period. We've had a follow-up call with them and Eric Botcher's office, along with the developers. Still no answers. They're completely left in the dark. So we are hoping to get something soon. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry if you mentioned this, but there was not quorum at ACES.
Right, that's not the new business,
yeah.
right? It was the stormy night, so what can you do?
Okay, any questions for Josephine? Sorry. Terrific. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You'll need the microphone because folks online need to hear you.
Why do they need these questions answered by the beginning of the school year?
Why do we need questions by the beginning of the school year?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we don't have a timeline of when any demolition may come down. So we have school year kids who are as young as 4 years old who may be coming back to school in a construction zone where there could be serious issues with air quality, noise. There's also another school that is co-located there that has students with very severe disabilities, autism, sensory impairment, and So that school also needs to know what is going on because these kids are getting bussed in, wheelchairs, all kinds of issues. And so they need to know what's going on for their own health and safety.
The reason I ask is I just wonder if this might be more impactful as part of a list of prioritized asks, like around the redevelopment project. So we could work this into a broader letter,
Oh, yes.
what we're asking
Yes.
for. So as opposed to one, so if there weren't such a time crunch, could this be part of a broader letter where it's like, here are the things that we're asking for.
Right.
One among them is mitigation efforts for PS 33.
Yes. And I do thank you for that question. Most of what's in this letter was actually documented in our response to the DEIS, the Draft Environmental Impact Statement. So, but as you know, that document is very long, and even our response was extremely thorough and long, but we have not received any responses. So we are doing this, we are highlighting this as in a separate letter, hoping to get some attention. And this is going directly to the developers. Whereas the response to the DEIS, where did that go? That went not.
Well, isn't the response to the DEIS just the final version of it?
I think to answer your question though, yes, the answer is that this would obviously fit into a larger letter about the broader project eventually. But the issue being that the school was not ever really involved in the very beginnings of this conversation, and they have a timeline that doesn't necessarily fit with the development of this project, right? They have to start school in September with a lot of things figured out. And so that's why we want to advocate for them now, unlike Hudson Guild, I will say, who's been in conversations with the related for months now. And not to say that they might still need help, but that the school itself has been asking for help.
Right. I mean, the Hudson Guild was included in the draft environmental impact statement. The building is coming down. The school, which is about 150 feet from one of the buildings to come down, was not really included. They were included in terms of some other issues, but there was never any conversation about mitigation efforts, which is very concerning. And that is why the school community has these concerns and needs answers.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone
Thank you,
else?
Josephine. Okay, just before we vote, if you are online and you qualify for participating remotely, you need to be sure you fill out the remote participation link that certifies you're eligible to participate in tonight's vote. And then you will also need to fill in your online vote sheet at the appropriate time if you are eligible to vote. If you're just participating remotely and tuning in, that's great, and we welcome that as well. Well, there was one other thing I was going to say that now I forgot. But we will get ready for our roll call vote, and Katie here will walk us through. Remind everyone to verbally announce their vote and their name.
So, hello, everyone. So remember, I'm going to call people out alphabetically. I'm going to ask for how you vote. If you want to just say, yes to all or no to all, whatever, you can say one answer for everything, or you can say yes to all except for letter, and then just pick out a few and tell me that you're voting differently. And then I'm going to repeat what you just said to make sure that we have it fully recorded. Okay, so I am going to, and then obviously if I say it wrong, call me out on it. Okay, so are we good? Okay, so Ted, Irenas. Oh, well then never mind. Roberta. Yes. Roberta is yes to all. Okay, Christine. Oh, they're just playing games on me. Okay, Leslie. Yes to all. Viren. Yes to all. Liam.
Do no on 71, yes to the rest.
No on 71, yes to the rest. Thank you. Kevin. Abstain on 63, yes to the rest. Lisa, David. Oh, there you are right there. Hello. Yes to all. Marty.
No, 5, yes to the rest.
No to 5, yes to the rest. And Marty's bragging. He just submitted. Yay, you, Marty. Paul. Yes to all. Pete Diaz. There you are. Yes to all. Jeffrey Gardner.
Sorry, was trying to unmute there. It is yes to almost all of them. I've just got to find my reference here.
Okay. Yep.
I believe my only no vote was on moving the bus stop from the Chelsea Mercantile.
Is that 66?
Yes, that is item 66.
Okay. So that's a no on 66 and yes to the rest?
That's correct.
No on 66, yes to the rest. Got it. Thomas? No on 71, yes to the rest. Thank you. Wendy? Yes to all. Max? Was Max here? Online?
No, it's not.
No, not here. Okay. Matt?
Yes to all.
Yes to all. Okay. Jesse? All right, so I believe that was no on 71, P&E on 69 and 70, and yes to the rest. Is that correct? Yeah, okay. Whatever I just said, we're gonna agree with. No on 71. Now, Jesse, one more time, focus real quickly. No on 71, P&E on 69 and 70. All right, yes to the rest. Okay. Oh no, not Candace, you're not on here anymore. All right, sorry. Aaron? Yes to all. David? Yes to all. Frank? Yes to all. Josephine? Yes to all. Inga? No on 71, yes to the rest. Carrie? Not here. Ella?
Yes to all, no on 71.
Okay, no on 71, yes to the rest. Matt Klein? No on 71, yes to the rest. Chris LeBron? Not here. Rachel? Yes to all. James?
No on 71, yes to the rest.
No on 71, yes to the rest. Ellen? No on 71, yes to the rest. Brendan?
No, not here.
Not here. Sanford? No on 71, yes to the rest. Shanice? Yes. Yes to all and submitted. Nice. Nice. Charles? Not here. Gregory?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. P&E on 61. Okay. Yes to the rest. Got it. Tina Nelson? Yes to all. Mike Noble? Mike?
Sorry. P&E on 56 and 75, yes to the rest, and submitted.
I'm sorry, Mike. Can you repeat that? P&E on what?
56 and 75.
56 and 75. P&E, yes to the rest. Great. JD? Yes to all. Maria? Yes to all. Alan? What? No on 71. Yes to the rest. Brad? All right, no on 63 and 71, is that correct? And yes to the rest. Joe? Yes to all. Is Dolores here?
No.
No? Katie? Yes to all. Brian? No on 66 and 71, yes to the rest. Me, Katie Stokes, yes to all. Hector, here? Not here. David?
Hi.
Hey.
Abstain on 71 and yay to all.
Abstain on 71. Sorry, abstain on 71, yes to the rest. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I put you in. Okay. 70, that's Hector. Abstaining on 71. Yes to the rest. Rodney. Yes to all form submitted. Way to go. A little bow to you, my friend. Alice. Not here. And then Jessica. Yes to all. Oh, Jeffrey, did you want to say something about a vote?
Yes, sorry, just before you close the vote roll, I made an error in 63. I am abstain. So that would be yes to all except 63, which is abstain, and 66, which is a no.
Okay. So again, that's abstaining on 63, no on 66, yes to the rest.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else? We're good. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Katie. Before we get a motion to adjourn, I just want to remind everyone, I hope I'll see you there tomorrow night on the High Line at 6 p.m. You're free to bring a +1. It'll be a lovely evening just to socialize and have a drink. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, second Roberta. Thank you all. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. And remind